Dre Kampfraat from Interim.
Dre Kampfraat, how are you?
Suppose you got a company and you think, all right, I got some very passionate people in my company. How would you deal with them? Send them out, keep them in, and how to get them working for your company with their passion?
Well, I mean, I think if you've got people that are passionate and you've got a company, if you keep them in, they're going to keep you out. They're going to leave. I mean, eventually they're going to deteriorate. So I think what you need to do is, it's a very broad question. What I do in my company is very simple. I put people in positions to win. I will hire somebody to be director of X, and 3 days in, I'm like, oh shit. But I know why I hired them, because they were a good human being, and they had hustle, and they had heart. So I will pay attention over the next 2 weeks of what they're good at, and then put them in that spot. So I think what you need to really do within that company, directly for you, is pay attention to what they're best at, and if that means they need to go out, then they need to go out. And if that means they need to stay in, they need to stay in. But you want to position your players to do what they're best at.
And do you kick their ass out if they're no good?
I only kick people out of my companies if they're no good as human beings. If they can't get along well with the other boys and girls, they're out. The 6 most talented wine people that have ever worked for my retail company have been fired because they were typical wine douchebags.
Got it. Here's another one.
Hi, my name is Eric Woning.
Hey, Eric.
Hi. How do you, or how can we convey this, what you're telling, to our clients? How can we tell them you need to do your work extra? Because that's pretty hard as a consultant.
Yeah, very hard. I'm learning that, right? So you've got to be less scared. You've got to be in a position where you have enough clients that you can lose them. Because I was in a meeting the other day and flat out stood up 12 minutes into the meeting, looked the CEO in the face and said, if you don't fire your CMO, I'm leaving. And then he said, you need to leave. And then I left.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, but you have to understand why I did that. Because
you can afford it.
Because I can afford it, right? So you need to create a system where you can afford it. Instead of saying, okay, good, we've got 7 big clients, we're set. You need to be hungry and stretching yourself thin and getting more clients and not sleeping and building an infrastructure. Because the reason I had to do that was that guy was cancer. He was old school and he had no interest in doing anything right. He wanted to control the message. And if I didn't get him out, I was going to lose. And then people were going to say, oh crap, this water company has VaynerMedia, but they suck shit. And then I would suck shit.
Right. You know, who needs a hole in the head? It's like a cancer. Now, you know what we call that, right?
What's that?
Fuck you money.
But I don't, but you know what's funny?
Have that
you know what's funny? I don't have it. What I have is fuck you ambition. I'm serious.
That's almost as good.
But it's more important.
All right. Question on this side of the house. Question. Come on. Come on.
Right there. Right there.
Question.
I love the questions. Seriously, it's social media. Get the crowd involved. Let me look at my presentation for the next 30 hours. Sorry. Sorry. Yes, sir.
Sir, my name is Björn.
Björn?
If you love your job, 150%, is that what you said earlier?
Yes.
How much percent do you love being here today?
Right here, right now?
Yeah, you're cursing the
151%. This is what, for me, I figured out what I'm about, right? Which is, I'm not reinventing anything. I just live it. I'm not a social media expert. I've lived this every minute of my life. It's all I do. The flight from New York to here, last night I did every minute from the beginning to here. I didn't watch X-Men 3. I emailed every single person that I could. From the second they said, you may now use, they didn't even get that far, and I was on my first email, right? And that's engagement. That's giving a crap, because you have to understand, you can't fake it. See, it's so transparent right now. You can't fake it. And so you can't fake caring, not through anything. And so it has to step from the top. The one thing I will say from my standpoint, and I know some of the questions may come, at almost every client we sign, we try to sign from the CEO, because I'm not interested in selling this either. So many of us are stuck in selling this internally in our companies or to other people. I have zero interest. In 2007 and 2008, when I was speaking, every conference, Gary, how do we convince people that Twitter is important? We don't. Keep getting more. Take advantage of this, because they're going to get it, right? And so I'm not in the business of convincing people this is happening, because that's my competitive advantage. I know how much of this is going to happen. Not everybody has that luxury. I think if you're really passionate about this stuff, you need to do 2 things. Create that second tunnel by building a business around your passion at home, at night, let that grow, let that breathe, and then you'll start getting a little bit more frisky at work as you start building some dollars there. And what you'll find, a couple people have told me, one guy was a senior executive at a company. He started his video blog about NASCAR. And it started doing well, and he was making $200,000 a year. His NASCAR site was making $15,000, but when it started making $15,000 that first year, he started getting ballsy because he could see things were happening. And he started getting more aggressive at work because he took 1% off of being scared to get fired. And what happened was he exploded and, you know, got promoted to the #2 guy because this is happening. There's no confusion. You know, please God, I hope everybody knows this is all changing. Media, business. So if you back it, you're going to look smart to somebody.
We used to use a metaphor of surfing. And then when you're in the risky stage, you're hanging 10. You're on the edge of the surfboard, a little too far out ahead. We're now sitting right in the middle of the surfboard. You got yourself a great wave, and we're riding that wave.
I think that's true.
Right? More questions? Come on, show some balls. Okay, here we go.
Hi, my name is Jan Willem. I'm a big fan of your video blog.
Thank you so much.
The first blog I saw about you was you going crazy about you know why because of the ROI. And, since then I follow you.
Thank you.
Can you give us a sneak preview of your next video?
Of my next video?
Yeah.
So I can't believe you asked that. It's because it's a video I'm not going to make. Last Wednesday, the New York Times wrote a substantial feature on me. It was big, it was crazy, it was very humbling. And it caused an enormous wave of criticism in the wine world. It caused super hoopla because it talked about how I was the newest critic, I was the guy, I was the up-and-coming critic. And the Wine Spectator's senior editor came out, tweeted, posted that I'm not a critic, I'm a retailer, I'm a salesman. I can't be a critic. I've got tied in interest. That ship has sailed a long time ago. People have been analyzing the data of what I rate and how. I've won that game forever. Because what nobody understood when I started Wine Library TV was I was looking to build my personal brand. I wasn't looking to sell 3 more cases of Pinotage. Anyway, a wine enthusiast writer wrote an article on his blog that day saying that he had dinner that night, last night, with a winemaker from California, and I was a douchebag, and I wanted desperately to be as big as Robert Parker, and I didn't care about wine anymore, all these negative things. Now, for me, I'm very okay with people not liking me that don't know me because I understand who I am. You know, I understand what this is. And I know I can always win that game once I win. But hearing somebody that I met and spent time with dislike me upset me. I figured out who it was because he said a California winemaker that was on the show. There was only 1 in 2 weeks. So I emailed the guy, the winemaker, and I said, listen, I'm really sorry. I don't know if the excitement of meeting you because I think you're great. And I'm launching a wine social network called Corked. I just launched it. I was telling him about that. I'm like, I don't know what got, you know, mixed in translation, but I apologize, blah, blah, blah. He called me. I just landed. I heard his voicemail. I just listened to it. And he said, Gary, Nick Goldschmidt here. He's like, I don't know what that reporter was smoking. He's like, I didn't say that. As a matter of fact, he said that, and he's making it seem like I said that. And went on and on and on about it, right? How upset he was and this and that. And I said, you know, isn't it funny that we now live in a transparent world? Because that article was pretty negative, and a lot of people left comments, and I went in there and said, I don't know how, let's all meet, everybody in here. But what's funny about that is that winemaker is very respected. I have a wine writer. I have a lot of respect for the guy that wrote that article. And I was thinking to myself on the way here, it was a 45-minute drive to the hotel where I was at, and I said, I could take a flip cam right now, tape me playing this voicemail, put it out there, and really fuck up that guy's reputation. Pretty much really substantially hurt that reporter's career. And I'm not going to do that because it's just not how I roll. I'm going to do this and talk about it and let people figure it out themselves. But it's so powerful. It just once again reminded me, don't be a dick, always do the right thing, open doors for ladies, kiss babies, love people, and you will have a business. Because we are living in a world where nothing is hidden. The person that gives the best customer service is always going to win. In 1997, when I saw Frugal, Google's pricing engine, I'm like, oh shit, that's it. And I lowered every price at Wine Library, and I built Wine Library's business model on Frugal. There's a site on the internet called Wine Searcher. If you're a wine fan, you should use it. It'll tell you the cheapest price in your country for that wine. Wine Library prices every wine at that price. The best price. We tie.